You are now tuned in to Papi Chulo Radio, your web portal for the best in pop culture news and interviews.
That girl you know, Gillian Holroyd, she's one.
A witch?
Yes!
Shep, you just never learned to spell.
This is a Papi Chulo Radio special announcement. PapiChuloRadio.com is currently looking to expand its web presence, and we're looking for your help. If you're a fan of Papi Chulo Radio and its signature series, please visit GoFundMe.com/PapiChuloRadio and help us with our campaign. Every dollar amount donated will be improving the Papi Chulo Radio experience and making it more interactive and user-friendly. We thank you in advance for your support. This has been a Papi Chulo Radio special announcement. We now return you to our regularly scheduled programming. The following is a Papi Chulo Radio original program. The views and opinions expressed in the commentaries and/or interviews in the following program are solely those of the individuals and are not views of Papi Chulo Radio, its parent, affiliate, or subsidiary companies.
Welcome to Summer Camp, a PapiChuloRadio.com and iTunes exclusive. Papi Chulo Radio, pop culture on demand. I'm your host and camp director, Maurice Gatewood. Tonight on Summer Camp, we're going to explore some of Hollywood's campiest flicks, cult classic motion pictures, and fan favorite films. Please welcome my co-host, the hip-hop legend himself, Assistant Director Dead Lee.
What up? What up? We're going glamping. We're going glamping this year.
All right. You'll explain what that is later, right?
Yes!
Our director of residential life, the man from the future, Legionnaire. What's going on, Legionnaire?
Oh, well, you know, she's awfully clever with a quarter.
she can work with some change, right? Shoot. Yeah, first aid director, that silky soul singer himself, Damian Nova. What's up?
Hey, baby, how are you tonight?
All right, I'm better now. Much better now.
It's my duty to please that booty.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Like my pants just fell off.
They just fell off.
Just fell off.
Our activity leader, the fabulous Vanetta Berry. What's up, Vanetta? Welcome to the show.
Hello, y'all. I'm fine. Thank you for having me.
Yay!
Aww.
Body painting. Are we going to do body painting, activity director, please?
Ooh, yes.
Indeed.
Yeah, definitely. We'll start with our head chef, Mr. Derek Anthony. What you cooking tonight, Derek?
Oh, tonight is a jambalaya dish that you all are just gonna love. You got to make those dishes that stretch, because after all, we don't have no money.
Well, that's why we're doing How to Marry a Millionaire. But before we begin, here's one of our campers on our PA system with a few announcements on how you can interact with us via social media.
Thank you for the intro, and sorry for the microphone feedback. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/PCR Summercamp. Follow us on Tumblr, summercamp-pcr.tumblr.com. Follow Papi Chulo Radio on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, and YouTube at Papi Chulo Radio. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns? Email us via contact@papichuloradio.com. Help support Papi Chulo Radio financially by visiting GoFundMe.com go.fund.me/PoppyChulaRadio. Help support Poppy Chula Radio financially by visiting GoFundMe.com/PoppyChulaRadio. Are you interested in joining the Poppy Chula Radio team as an on-air personality or blog contributor? Email talent@poppychularadio.com. Binge listen to your favorite Poppy Chula Radio programs by visiting poppychularadio.com/archives. You can also download tonight's broadcast and the rest of the series through iTunes. Just search for Poppy Chula Radio Summer Camp and subscribe. Now, grab some popcorn and some snacks. It's time for your feature presentation. Back to you, camp counselors. Oh, not again. Sorry for the feedback.
Thank you. All right, it's time to fire up the film projector so that we can discuss 1953's How to Marry a Millionaire. Here is the official synopsis of the film. 3 New York models, Shotzi, Pola, and Loco, set up in an exclusive apartment with a plan. Tired of cheap men and a lack of money, they intend to use all their talents to trap and marry 3 millionaires. The trouble is, it's not so easy to tell the rich men from the hucksters. And even when they can, is the money really worth it? Well, we'll find out, won't we? So, my usual first question is, who has seen this movie before?
I have.
I have.
I have.
I have not.
Yes.
Clutching my fake pearl. Clutching my fake pearls.
Turner Classic Movies. I'm always watching.
Deadly, you said you've seen it?
Oh, yeah.
You've seen it?
Classic Movies.
Everyone's seen it except Legionnaire and myself. I had not seen it. And so what was your initial? I'm gonna go down. We got a rack of folks here tonight. So Vanetta, you said you seen it?
Yes, I had.
What was your initial reaction to it? Is this a favorite of yours, or is it one of those? It's like,
I went through a period when I was, I don't know, in college where I just wanted to watch every American movie classic, and that's what they were playing on AMC. So I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed this slight departure for Marilyn Monroe. She just kind of tried to step out of her normal role. It wasn't a big step, but it was a tiny little step out of her normal role. It was fine.
Huh. Okay, so let's be honest here. This movie is very, very
dated, extremely dated.
Yeah,
it was
it dates itself so hard.
It's dated, but you can apply it's ratchet though. You know what I mean? Like
it's ratchet.
The way they were very kind of like, if they recast this movie, who would they cast in those parts now?
These girls were they were stunt queens.
Oh,
yeah, they really were.
They were stunt queens.
They were early day stunt queens.
They really were.
They were pioneers.
That was my first thought. I said, these hoes are stunt queens. What are they doing?
selling the furniture, and then
furniture that wasn't even theirs.
Right. Then old boy bought her the furniture. This bitch was gonna sell it again.
Sell it back. So she bought it back and then sold it back and then brought it back upstairs after he came back and. Girl, will you please pick a way to be?
That's a stunt queen, baby. She said, "Ooh, yes, baby. Go ahead and buy all my furniture back. So once I dismiss you, I'm gonna sell that shit again, get some more cash." Yes.
That's the return on your investment that everybody can believe in.
Right.
But if they were models in New York City now,
that wouldn't mean anything.
You're right, because most models don't make the kind of money like Giselle and Tyra Banks and those kind of models. Like if you're a typical model in New York City, you wouldn't be able to afford a penthouse on, you
No,
know.
most of the models here in New York live together.
Together, yeah.
Average
Yeah, I was just about
model.
to say that. Yeah.
It's still
Because,
that
you know,
person part.
New York is not cheap.
But
Right.
even though it was dated, they said she mentions at the beginning that they had $1,000. That apartment was $1,000 a month. And that
Right.
was in the 50s. That was still really expensive.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, well, did anybody? Okay, so which one of you, which girl did each of you identify with the most?
I gotta say, Pola for me, Marilyn. Marilyn's on me, especially since I'm wearing glasses now too. I can totally feel her. I'm bumping into walls and things.
I think I'm Loca.
Loca, you Betty Grable?
Yes,
Because you got the legs.
Oh,
a little bit. But also, it was the way that she was just like, she like took everybody at face value.
She really did.
That,
Yeah.
that was really, that was an endearing quality for me. Like, oh, well, he was just so nice, but you're not supposed to meet a guy at the meat counter. Oh, but he was nice, but he wasn't wearing a tie. Yeah, but he was still.
no, that
sweet,
was cold
you know?
cuts. Get that right, girl. That was
Yeah.
cold cuts.
Cold cuts, sorry.
Yeah.
She still got that.
Well, I'm going to
fat
say
love.
of the three, Loca, because I can sometimes get people to buy my groceries also.
They were worried about Loco. They were worried about Loco though.
She was a late addition.
Right.
And she was a wild
Well,
card.
Shotzi.
But
Shotzi
Polo
was
knew.
not having
Polo
it.
was like, no, girl, you don't know her. This girl, she lands on her feet all the time. She gonna be just fine. She gonna be fine with the group. Oh, I think if I had to pick one, I would probably be most like Shotzi.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
Oh,
I,
wait a minute
I
now.
would. I think I would be most like Shotzi too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to
You
agree. I think because she was so, I think she was the most grounded out of the three. Like she had her shit together, but at the same time, it was like she still needed the same shit that they did, but she didn't wear it. Like they kind of wore, well, this is what we're doing, and this is our plan, and this is who we are. Where she was just like, no, this is what's going to be, and I found the place, so this is how it's going to work. While at the same time, still not seeing the forest for the trees, like,
Right.
you don't.
And right,
You're
'cause
trying to.
that would be me. So focused on the goal.
Yeah.
The
Right.
end goal
Right.
that it's like, wait a minute, there was this detour that could have got you what you wanted 5 hours
Right.
ago.
And
But
in
it
some
wasn't wearing a
ways-
tie.
Right. And I don't want to offend you because I said I would be most like her too. But in a lot of ways, she was the most thirsty,
Yeah,
She was.
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
or the most focused. I'll put it in a nice.
She was
way.
hungry. She was
Right.
hungry.
Yeah.
She was.
I was trying to be a little more correct with it, but yes.
She was
To put
hungry
it in
like the
today's
wolf.
Vernacular, yeah, she was
Yeah.
quite thirsty.
So if you're new on the show, you're going to hear a number of times this season, I like to tell people I'm a violinist. But even so, that was a whole lot of orchestra introduction at the beginning.
It sure was. I was like, oh,
Now,
wait a
someone,
minute, did I get
I
the right
love the
song?
violin. The violin is my life. I love it. But it was a whole lot. It was a whole lot. Even throughout you know how these movies are scored?
Yeah.
I was like, if they got paid by the note, good grief. It was like really a lot of violin and a lot of wah-wah trumpet.
Yeah.
You know, it's like James Bond wasn't around then yet, but I can see where the wah-wah trumpet came from. But it was really scored really heavily. I just didn't get that whole intro with the orchestra.
that was
A big budget comedy.
There's a lot of 50s movies like that because here's the thing.
Exactly. I was going to say that.
I would have loved to have lived in that era, except not, as black or me.
Black person, yeah.
Right. Yeah, no. But I love those old 50s Hollywood movies. I just love everything about those. That was for the audience to know that the movie was getting ready to start. This was before trailers.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Who the orchestra's playing? Get your bonbons and get your seat.
Yeah.
Start this movie.
Yes.
It was
also, wasn't this Universal? Who is this? Is it Universal or Paramount? Who is this?
It was Goldwyn, wasn't it?
MGM.
Yeah,
Okay, so it was
MGM.
MGM. Okay, so it was MGM. MGM didn't have every time they didn't have cartoons going before their like they did sometimes, and they didn't other times. And it seemed like for a comedy of this scope, because it's definitely a big budget comedy for the time.
No, it was Fox.
No, 20th Century Fox. Yeah.
Oh, it was
Okay.
Fox.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know for a big budget comedy of this size, especially Fox, like they didn't have Warner Brothers cartoons or MGM cartoons before it, so they had to do all this extra stuff. And a lot of them have those big orchestrations. A lot of them do, and it will exhaust you the first 10 minutes of the damn movie, like it's an overture before you see your opera.
I understand that. I understand a lot of them had like a whole. It was almost like a musical where they play through all the themes of all the numbers. Yeah. But I don't remember ever seeing where they actually showed the
orchestra.
The orchestra. It was just really interesting. And then, let me tell you, those bitches. When you talk about playing together,
listen,
they're both. I mean, you did not see any. I mean, you can go to a symphony. You don't see somebody, out of sync, out of whatever, a little bit this, a little bit this way. I don't care how good the orchestra, but them bitches, they were like, this is being filmed. I mean, they look almost like one person, Well,
this was the 50s. They could shoot you then for messing up.
Yeah.
The studio could
get fired real quick.
Basically owned you. The studio could
They sure did.
That's true. That's true. And they probably paid for all of the movies for that studio.
The studio, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was also job security for musicians. I thought that's what I thought immediately. I was like, oh man, they got to actually be in the film. Whereas musicians now, if you get your song on a soundtrack, you don't really necessarily get in the movie. But those musicians got to be in the movie.
Yes.
They paid them shit back there. They did not pay them a thing back then. They were on the lot, and they were
some of those composers and directors though they had it going on because Alfred Newman he was one of the big Power 3 back in the day.
Sure,
it was him, Max Steiner, and Dmitri Tiomkin, baby. When they came, came out to that golden age of movies, when they started they were writing and composing. Shoot, honey, they were getting the coins.
Yeah, they were. I'm talking about the people sitting in the chairs.
Some studio musicians actually, left symphony jobs because they could make more money being studio musicians.
And it was a steady paycheck. You got paid that week, whether you paid or not.
Yeah.
Because
it was steady, yeah.
Once you got working for them, yes, baby, you were golden.
I just thought it was funny
making sure that you were in those seats on the regular.
Right. And what do you think? It was such a pseudo jazz score. It was so funny. It was like very jazzy, but you didn't see any jazzy looking people in the movie. Not even driving a damn cab, or holding the door. I'm like, good grief,
I'm going to say this because both of them were Cinescope. So I watched this on Friday. I rewatched it rather on Friday, and then I saw La La Land on Saturday.
Ew.
Ooh.
Which also starts off with the big Cinescope thing.
Yeah.
And made me hate La La Land that much more.
That'll be so hard.
Because I had a clear vision in my mind of what they were trying to do, but didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But didn't. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I will definitely co-sign that when I saw this movie for the first time, it made me understand what La La Land was trying to do and failed.
Horribly, miserably. We're talking about that.
There was that other movie out, though. There was another movie that came out last year with Scarlett Johansson and Tatum Channing and a bunch of people that kind of was trying to recreate that old Hollywood studio system, and that kind of failed miserably.
is that it's hard to recreate that today because nobody's going to bring that level of camp to a modern day movie. You also can't bring that level of racism to a modern day movie.
Well, you can.
You can, and they have.
But I know what you mean. But that level of like those actors, like back in the day, in the studio days, like Debbie Reynolds and different people like that. A lot of them were dancers and stuff first.
Yeah, they were quadruple threats. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of them, all of them were actors. All of them had acting ability, as opposed to many of the stars of today, who are looks and personality, who can memorize lines and walk across the stage without tripping over themselves.
They don't have that theater. They don't have that theater.
Which is still a struggle for some of them.
Yeah.
Just walking and talking.
Ryan Gosling watching his feet while he's dancing. That's all I'm saying. I really hated that movie.
I have not seen it. So
it was nominated. It's nominated for what? 12 Oscars?
How many ever Oscars there are to give? That's how many it's nominated for.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So would you
always like to know how I described it?
What's that?
Would you like to know how I described it?
I would always like to know whatever you think.
This is how I described the movie. Have you ever given yourself a really good hand job?
Ooh, I don't call them hand jobs.
Every day.
To the point where you just wanted to applaud to yourself when it was done.
Yes.
Is what Hollywood has done with this movie. This is its applause to its hand job.
Yeah. It does that once every 3 years. It gives a good old, old fashioned.
Anything for you, but they were satisfied when it was over.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get it. When they do that, I think they do that at least once or twice a year.
Yeah, Well, the Oscar bait ones.
With something, and you're just like standing there with the cum rag going, okay, whatever, But so this movie, I'm not sure whether it was like how it was received. On IMDb, it gets a 7.0. I wouldn't put it out with. I think, it kind of broke the fourth wall with some of the references to other movies. I thought that was kind of interesting, kind of funny.
Yeah.
Do you remember how many there were?
I know they referenced Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. I know that there was a reference to that.
They referenced that. They also referenced Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. Mm-hmm. They referenced African Queen.
Yes, that's what I was trying to think of.
Lauren Bacall said something about I like older guys. Look at that fellow from African Queen. I love that guy, and that's her husband. So it's just all these. It was really, really. It was campy for then, even though it's even more campy now. I thought it was neat like that.
But I don't think it had the kind of. Did you find that most of the acting, the heavy lifting, was done by Lauren Bacall? Or did you appreciate, Betty Grable's character was kind of interesting because her character was kind of in between.
Right.
It was kind of in between, so I thought she had almost like a harder job to do, acting wise, because she couldn't go totally Marilyn, but she couldn't get to it.
Yeah, she was the balance in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So who brought the heat though? Who brought the heat?
Well, I will say this, and this is a compliment to Betty Grable. Anyone who can play a character who pretends like they don't understand what they're going away to a cabin with a very manful.
She was highly upset. I thought we were going to a lie.
She was mad. She was mad as hell. She's like,
this is not a lie.
You said we were going to a lodge. Where are all the members?
She played herself, though.
Oh my goodness, that was funny.
But Betty, Betty.
That big thermometer. That big old thermometer.
Right.
Oh, that was
in my mouth.
Open your mouth.
That was some innuendo all over the place.
And that's the other thing.
Don't open your mouth until I tell you.
And don't try to talk while it's in your mouth. I was like, oh no.
That's the other thing. They don't do innuendo in movies like that anymore.
No.
They don't.
They would have had them waking up in bed next to people. They would have had them waking up in bed next to people and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure. So Deadly.
It depends.
Deadly, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Today, you'd actually see them bed hopping.
Yeah. So
yes,
Deadly,
Maurice.
I'm gonna ask you the question I asked at the beginning. If they were recasting this movie, who do you think they would cast?
Ooh. Well, we definitely have to get some color in there, right?
But it would have to be
all three
probably.
blondes.
It would probably have to be 3 top actresses.
3 top 20 something.
I don't know. For some reason, Rihanna keeps jumping into me with the Marilyn Monroe. I don't know why.
Interesting.
I'm putting Riri. Putting Riri in the Marilyn Monroe. I can see her in little glasses or something.
Okay. I was thinking maybe Gabrielle Union for that Lauren Bacall role.
She's played that so many times, though.
I know, that's why she fine.
She's a little old.
Like she was basically that in Deliver Us from Eva, like.
And Daddy's
I'm
Little
good.
Girls.
And Daddy's Little Girls, yeah. That's enough.
But you see that Nicole Kidman bought the rights to it, so she'd probably put herself in.
She did.
Don't do it.
She's a little ice queen. She's a little too ice queen for that. Like she's.
Well, I wouldn't see her trying to play it now.
She tried to play. Princess Grace.
She shouldn't get her feelings hurt like that.
I don't recall that.
Yeah, it was called Grace of Monaco.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase. I choose not to recall that.
Because that was unfortunate.
And we know that Nicole listens to the show. I'm sorry, Nicole. It's not personal. I will pay for your next Botox treatment. That's our arrangement. If I say something dirty about her, I will pay for her next Botox treatment. So, for the Betty Grable role, I don't know who I would cast for in that part. It's hard to find. It would be hard to find 3 actresses that there was a general consensus in the public eye.
I feel like we would need good television actresses like Deborah Messing or something like that in one of those roles. I just don't feel like there's a lot of major actresses that would pull. I don't think they need to redo it. That's one thing. I think it's fine the way it is.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. But I will tell you who I think might be good in that role. Might be good. Sarah Palin, who plays Haley on Modern Family.
Yes, you know what? She would be fun, and I could see her playing. I could see her playing probably Paula more than Loca.
Yeah.
Okay, and so there's a reason. There's a reason I asked the question, because you know who they would cast in the remake.
Scarlett Johansson.
No, it would be
because she's in every damn thing.
Because they would go against type like they like to do now. It would be Amy Schumer, Lena Dunham, and
Vivica Fox,
and McCarthy. What's her first name?
Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, and Melissa McCarthy.
No.
That would be the
awful.
I just threw up.
Or to be a gay man. It'll be a gay man or something. That'll be the unassuming. It will be the unassuming pretty Pola. It'll be some gay white man. That just I didn't know I was pretty. Oh, let me put on my glasses. Oh, I guess I am pretty, bitch. Okay.
That was kind of funny too. The whole like men don't make passes like girls that wear glasses.
Right.
That was cute. So we have to talk about fashion.
Oh, the fashions were on point.
Another thing I like about movies from the 50s, they always have some of the best fashion in them.
Well, whose fashion stood the test of time, though?
I really like Shotsky's, like her outfits.
Yeah,
especially like her, like the little dress suit that she was in the beginning.
Yeah,
some of the dresses that she wore, they weren't too over the top, but yet they were still really nicely done.
Yeah, because I mean, I could see a lot of the stuff, especially during the little fashion showpiece, where you can see where a lot of that stuff has survived passage of time to where there are nods to it even today. You can see that they're nods to all that stuff, which I thought was really cute.
Well, I thought Marilyn's dresses actually looked like they look like red carpet dresses. Sometimes you see now, especially that maroon one, and was there a green one that with white gloves? Who was wearing that? Was that Marilyn Monroe also? There was a green. Someone had on an emerald green dress with white gloves.
The fluffy sleeves. I think that was Lauren Bacall.
Yeah, that was Lauren. Yeah, a lot of see her dress looked her outfits didn't look costumey. They looked like like real clothes, like she bought her real clothes to set or something. But I think
Paula looked a mess. Sorry, that dress she had on when she went on that date. It's like, what is this flower around your neck, and what is this going on around your chest? I don't understand this dress, girl. I don't understand it. I don't want to understand it.
I liked all the fashions. I thought they all said a little something.
Skills. It's funny though because two of those actresses were known for being very curvaceous, in during their time. But neither of them looked particularly curvaceous in this movie.
Very thin.
Yeah, they all looked like they were trying to be as thin as Lauren Bacall, who's always thin. And I guess maybe because they were supposedly playing, but Betty Grable and Marilyn Monroe were a lot more curvy in that earlier in their careers, and so I thought, having not seen this movie before, I was just like, wow, they don't look like, they don't have that sort of bombshell kind of look that they were known for. I guess they wanted them to look like starving models or something.
Yeah.
I mean, they look good. I mean, they look fine, but I was like, wow, I never remember seeing Marilyn Monroe look that thin.
I mean, also they were snatched. I mean, they were pulled taut. In them dresses, like especially Marilyn Monroe, you could tell like where her waist ended. Yeah, like they pulled them
cinched for the gods.
Yeah,
they were quite corseted.
Yeah. So, did anyone have a favorite outfit?
I think you mentioned the one that Marilyn Monroe wore. The red was really nice.
The red was the standout for me. Absolutely.
So let's talk about.
And I did like the dress that Shotzi wore on her date with JD.
That was a good dress. Yeah,
I like that one too.
You didn't like the wedding dress? I thought that looked modern. That looked like you could wear that today.
The dress, the hat was wrong.
Yeah. As soon as she put the hat on, I was like, oh well, there you go. I get like I'm done. It already looked like a doily, and then you're gonna put this hat on it. It's okay.
But I agree with you. The dress looked very chic, and that's what's surprising. She put that thing on her head. It looked, but I guess it's funny because these girls were supposed to be in their mid-20s.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But they seemed old. I don't know how old they were were when they made the movie, but their demeanor, I guess people then didn't. I don't know. They just seemed older, to me, just in their mannerisms.
Were they older or were they more worldly?
Yeah,
they were weathered.
There you go.
They were weathered.
They had seen some things.
So let's talk about the guys in this movie.
Eben? Is it Eben? Is that his name? That's the one we need to talk about.
Eben? Yeah.
So who do you think one of them would have married even if they didn't have money?
That's a hard one because they were wishy-washy till the end.
Married the guy that didn't have money.
Right. I think Eben would have did all right regardless with any of them.
Right. Yeah, he would have been fine.
Pretty.
Because, he was pretty.
He's the one that the Ranger?
The Ranger, yeah.
What about Brooklyn?
I like
he was
she
all right.
married him thinking he was broke.
He was fun.
He was a lot of fun because he didn't brook any of her stuff. It's like, I would never go out. Well, after today, I'm never going to see you again, girl. Anyway, I'll pick you up tomorrow at 7. Don't
I like want to see you again. JD was my favorite of all the suitors.
Who?
JD.
You know what? And I liked him.
Yeah,
too.
he was a class act.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
grandpa.
He was classy all the way through.
Grandpa.
Yeah.
See,
because he could have acted a plum fool at the end of that, and he did not. He could have snatched all her shit out the house.
Okay.
He's like, who bought this? Who bought this dress? Who bought this? Who bought this? That's mine. Give me that. That's mine.
He came across as like a cuckold at some points, though. It was just like
he was a little cuck. He was a little cuckold.
Yeah, it was a little cuckoldy. Yeah, I was just like,
but he was also paid by Brookman to see if she was going to fall for it.
That was very, very interesting at one point.
Yeah, at the end where he goes, yeah, let me talk to you. He told him something about like, oh, should I tell her now? He's like, nah, you don't have to tell her, but eventually you will have to tell her because she did pass the test. And he was like, oh, okay. And so he goes in there, and then she ends up marrying Brookman instead of JD. And at the end of the cafe is when he explained to her that he was actually the only one that was rich.
Right.
Well, he didn't explain it. He just pulled out that many.
Right.
Well, no.
She thought he was.
I mean, he was saying stuff, but she wasn't buying it. And he pulled out that wad, and she was like,
and somewhere in Brooklyn, a horse died.
Right.
So when they had the fashion show, and he was the only one there, don't you think that would have been like a hint? Like, how could someone who pumps gas or whatever afford to have a private showing?
But Shotzi
remember she told her
he was stunting just like she was.
Yeah.
But wouldn't you have raised an eyebrow like, how did he arrange this with his broke ass?
Well,
but she was already like sold on the fact that he wasn't.
She had a Park Avenue apartment and she ain't had no money.
Yeah.
Also, remember she had been played by her previous husband, who she thought had money, and then turned out that he stole from her. And so she was pretty bitter about whether or not she was going to trust anybody. So that's why she was just like, I'm only going to marry. I'm going to follow this script. This is what I'm going to do. And so she basically missed the forest for the trees.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Because even when he was at the little showing, he still wasn't wearing no tie.
Yeah. And her thing was like, a real gentleman is going to wear a tie.
She was like,
so dated. Like those little points make this real dated, because it's like, oh, well, he's not wearing a tie, so he must not be rich or have any class. And it's like, okay, I mean, I hear you, 1950s, but I'm trying to put that together in my mind because I'm not from the 50s. So I'm just trying to put it like, how does wearing a tie equal classiness back then? Like, I'm just trying, because I'm not even of age to understand what it meant.
People back then in the 50s got dressed for everything.
Yes.
I mean, men wore ties. Once they got home, they took their jackets off and put on like their house robe, but they kept their shirt and tie on. Mm-hmm. The only time you dressed down was on Saturday when you put on a shirt, no tie, and a sweater to go outside and cut the grass.
Right. No, I got it. I got it. I'm just saying that it dates itself with her, with that sort of her being her only go-to with this guy, and the only reason she's not going out with him is because he won't wear a tie. It's like, this is definitely a 50s movie. like this is not, like, it can't translate like that. The whole plot is basically her fighting this dude because he doesn't have a tie on. Like, that's the entirety of the reason why she won't go out with him.
Did you also a few months ago when Prince Harry and Kate were visiting somewhere, and this older man came up and met them and actually said to him, "Where's your tie?" Just like that. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I guess I should have worn a tie." But it was like what you're saying. What does the tie have to do with here's someone who is supposed, I don't believe in divine right and all that. That's but their royalty. But he's like, "Where's your tie?" As if that is going to make it legitimate or something. But I see old pictures of my relatives and stuff, and they wore ties to school. I mean, the kids wore ties. Like the little, even in the 60s, they wore the little skinny ties to school, and the girls were dressed to the nines, and that's just how it was. I mean, I'm glad that went out.
But some of them stunts still hold up today. Like when she said, "Oh, men with that much money are never a little old."
Listen, I rewound that about 4 times.
I said, "Girl, yes." That one, and what was the other one? Yes, real class. Never mentions his wealth; it just refers to it. I said, "Yes, yes."
You know what? I think today you would just call it like a hood boy, though, don't you think, Damien? Like for a guy like that, just be a hood boy or something.
Or around the way,
I mean, it's not wearing the tie. I think you just say he's more hood or something like that.
Probably.
I guess that's a reach. I don't know. I don't know if not wearing a tie these days, especially with fashion the way it is now. If they did that in a new movie and just was like, "Oh well, he's a hood boy, so he's not gonna wear a tie," and it's like, but there are tons of different types of people now that don't wear ties.
But for today's audience, they wouldn't even reference a tie. It would just say he dresses hood, as opposed to whether or not.
He'll be a thug. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Or the opposite. He looked like he was a mechanic, or he came from the trailer park or something. It would be that kind of.
Well, she called him a gas station
jockey. Jockey. Pump jockey. Which sounds like a sex position.
But it's also a really, really low class thought process, because remember back then people didn't pump their own gas.
Right.
The guys would come run to your car and pump the gas for you, and basically she was saying that he was a minimum wage worker, and this guy owned several companies.
Pump your gas, and she ain't got shit. And change your oil.
Right. That's like saying, "Ooh, let me take you away from it all, even though I work at McDonald's."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of felt
two items.
But did you kind of feel like if they did a modern version of this movie, they would change the ending? Like they wouldn't end up marrying the guy. Like no one like they were kind of like crafty what they were doing. Like I kind of wanted to see one of them not get what they.
That's okay. So now you're talking my language because this is why I don't like this movie. I don't like this movie because these bitches don't really learn anything. Like
they really
like like the two that were sort of already just sort of head in the clouds, they sort of fell into the positions with the men that they were with. And then this other one, she fought against this dude tooth and nail, and he was just like, he was consistent and just really on her. And then, I mean, we're not going to talk about the muddy part in between. Okay, they got married and no other rich people were at their wedding. I'm confused. Anyway, so she's, you know, there's that whole, oh, well, I did this and I broke all these rules to try to get what I want, and at the end of it, I still got what I want. It is very much the white woman privileged. I hated it. I love the movie for the time. You know what I mean? Like I love it for the time that it was at, and I love the visuals and the acting in it is impeccable. But the story itself is shit, and it's like like. Some Like It Hot is a different movie because these men are trying to have Marilyn Monroe. If you've seen Some Like It Hot, like they're trying to have her instead of her trying to get with these men that are, oh, well, you guys are rich. Like she was so relaxed and laid back in that movie that you couldn't say, okay, well, this is her trying to act privileged. No, she was working class like the rest of them. Whereas in this one, these women were poor. I mean, they were about to be kicked out on the street. They had to sell all their furniture. They were eating hot dogs. These women had nothing. Okay, like nothing. And then they were like, okay, well, instead of having nothing, we're going to have everything and try to find us a millionaire in the building that we moved into. I'm so like, okay, so is that how it works? Do I need to go move into Trump Towers to find me a rich person?
I was just about to say, just go move into Trump Tower. But I mean, what does it say about it says a lot about the time, because at the end of the day, they got what they wanted in part because they were beautiful of the time, whether you agree with that or not, whether they were beautiful or not. But for the time and for who they were, it kind of says that as long as you're
pretty white.
But I mean, at the end, only one of them married a millionaire.
Yeah, but the other two got their happiness too.
The one
but they got their happiness understanding that the money wasn't gonna give it to them.
But you know, it seemed like the one that least deserved to get some millionaire ended up with one.
Right, that's what I'm talking. Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's what I did think that. I was like, okay, the head ringleader of the stunt queens ended up with the millionaire, even though she did find real true love in the process.
But it just seemed like she was using them. It seemed like she was using them. It would have been nice if Betty Grable ended up with the millionaire.
Yeah,
and walked away.
And she didn't, but she was still happy with not having the money. But then, like,
all she wanted. Did you see that dream sequence? She was dreaming about a sandwich.
Right, she wanted a sandwich.
Yes.
Oh my god, funniest part. That was the funniest part.
I had to be wired. I was like, "Is this just dreaming about a sandwich?"
Dream about.
I liked her dream outfit though. I liked her dream outfit. It was not. All right, y'all. So this is not a movie you can look at and it doesn't really have any social it doesn't have any message about the time. This is not the stuff it was. Okay, this is
right.
You know, we're not treading through any new territory. Here, and I think for the time, you know, they were probably three of the biggest actresses, you know, in Hollywood, and it might have been a little bit of a money grab, you know, but it was cast well. It was cast well, though.
Yeah.
Now, Maurice, did you know that there was a TV spinoff?
3 years with Barbara Eden.
Barbara Eden, yeah.
Was Barbara? Yes.
She played Paula.
Barbara Eden and who else?
No, she played Loco Jones.
Loco, sorry. Loco.
And who else? Who else?
I don't even remember who else.
Barbie Benton and who's laughing at me?
It was Barbie Benton, Mary Anders, Lori Nelson, and Lisa Gay.
Okay. Interesting. That wasn't her first TV spinoff of a movie. She was at Harper Valley PTA too.
Yes.
I don't know that one.
All right, Barbie.
She stayed working.
Shoot.
A check is a check. and maybe that's the moral of this movie. A check is a check.
Maurice, you're over there talking about casting, but all you have to really think is we still kind of have something like this, but just reality, like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Oh my
word!
Like Erica Jane. Erica Jane is playing the part of Marilyn or something, or of Loca or whatever. So there you go.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, but you can tell by the actors that they cast that this was a movie that featured. If you look on IMDb, it just has their three names on the marquee and on the thing, and they did not cast George Papard or the leading hunks at the time.
Yeah.
These guys were not. I mean, they were known actors, but they were not anyone who was going to take any of the shine off of their star.
Right.
So this movie was very much a vehicle, which was. I don't know if that was innovative of the time to have three women lead a movie.
No.
Or not, because you had Betty Davis and Joan Crawford and people like that who were definitely
feud.
Had the women, and there was a lot of movies that just sort of pushed their female actresses right in the front. And it wasn't. And the male actresses were supplemental unless they were like major stars, like I don't know what's that dude's name. I can't remember his name.
Trevor Howard or someone. Or the guy, the father. Actually, the father from My Three Sons was a huge leading man. He was huge. Fred McMurray. Guys it's really interesting. But usually, to have three. Didn't what was the movie with Lauren Bacall, Marilyn Monroe, and they did another movie together, right?
I don't know.
Not Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Weren't they in another movie together?
I know Jane Russell and Marilyn Monroe were in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes.
Right.
And then,
right.
Oh God, who was in 7 Year Itch? I think it was just Marilyn Monroe in 7 Year Itch, and then my brain.
Well, anyway, I thought it was because I'm not that familiar with Betty Grable. I know her as when they talk about her being a pinup girl and traveling to, with the USO and all that stuff, but I never really remember her from actually watching her in movies. So I didn't realize she was just a good actress. I was thoroughly convinced, by her character. But and Marilyn was actually a really good comedic actress.
Yes,
she was.
She's quite a strudel, is what she is.
She's creamy, baby. It was creamy.
To this day, one of my absolute favorite Marilyn Monroe movie that she was in, because it really wasn't a movie, was her character in The Women. Why must they always be Nappy Rabbit?
Where she was a scene stealer.
I thought that was in. All About Eve. That's All About Eve.
I'm sorry. All About Eve. You're right. You're correct. All About Eve.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was not. She was kind of a scene stealer in that.
And that's hard to do. That's hard to do with Betty Davis in the room.
Yeah,
and it was more of a nuanced role. It wasn't like Marilyn Monroe, bombshell Marilyn Monroe. It was she was still a little bit Norma Jean, in that movie. It wasn't like.
Did you ever see Don't Bother to Knock? She's a little crazy in that one. You need to watch that one.
I like Don't Bother to Knock. Yeah, it's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll talk to the producer. We might review it. But anyway, I don't know. Let me check IMDb. Did this movie win any awards? Not that I can.
It was nominated. It was nominated for Best Comedy by the Writers Guild of America. It was nominated for Best Costume Design, nominated for an Oscar. And nominated for British Academy Film Awards for Best Film with Any Score.
So see, the score
Curious.
was recognized.
Mm-hmm.
So, then I guess we should give out a few awards of our own. Okay. Let's hand out some camp superlatives. We got a long list this year. Okay. Poppy Chulo is mentally challenged, y'all. Okay. I'm not even gonna. Some of these I'm not even gonna. Oh gosh. Okay, so what was the unsexiest moment?
When what's her name broke out with the measles and told that man not to hit her. He was like, "Don't you?" She was like, "Don't you hit me!" I was like, "Oh, that's not sexy. That's not." Oh, I see your colors, 50s. I see you. I'm starting to see.
That was unsexy, and then the guy whose face was all in a sling and stuff. That was not a good look either. At the end, Marilyn's little guy.
Oh, he was cute. Oh,
with his face on.
I was gonna say, even beat up, he was adorable to me.
He was, yeah.
Because he was just smitten. Okay. Even beat down, he was still smitten.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he's an amazing actor. Like he was.
Give me the Forest Ranger. I'm sorry.
I'm with you, Maurice.
That thing will run away with a bear or something.
All this is mine from here to here.
I'm the bear. Okay. Who was the diva?
I think Lauren Bacall.
Lauren Bacall.
Yeah.
Between Lauren and Brookman, he was kind of a diva too. They were a good match. All right, let's see. What was the read of the night? Lauren Bacall was just kind of reading, like it was like one.
She was full of reads. She was full of reads. Yeah.
If you don't marry him, then you haven't caught him. He's caught you. I said, "Oh, girl."
Yeah.
No.
That's a good one. I mean, she was real bitter. Oh my gosh, she was so bitter.
You know what? That was a euphemism.
She was really bitter.
If you give it up for free, then
Right.
And what was that was one. Yeah, that's the thing about a bear trap. You don't need to catch a herd of them, just a big fat one.
Just a big fat one. Just one big fat one. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that one you said earlier, Legionnaire? Something about a quarter. That one's a good one.
Oh yeah, she's awfully clever with a quarter. I was like, yes. Told her to say, "Ooh, how many do I need to feed? 3? Ooh, girl, I got you."
And didn't even invite him in to eat.
Right.
Horrible.
So what was that's so retro moment?
He can't stay to eat. He might get the wrong idea.
I'm gonna go back to the not wanting to get hit part. The part where she just assumed that because he raised his hand, he was gonna slap the hell out of her. It's like, this is a rough time for women. This is
well, women could get beat down then, and it was okay.
Yeah, just for being slightly hysterical. Just, oh my God, I have the measles. Pow! Oh, okay, maybe I don't. Sorry. So.
Shotzi Reed, when she told old girl when she was getting ready to go to Atlantic City, she said, "Oh, girl, you better put a check in that one. Nobody's mother lives in Atlantic City on a Saturday."
On a Saturday, yes.
On a Saturday.
Funny. So
he seemed a little sketchy anyway, but we never got to see what was going on with him. Like, he pulled his eye patch up and...
Oh, yeah, Alex Darcy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just kind of faded away.
Yeah, he caught the wrong plane. And he didn't even come looking for her.
Yeah.
What was the sexiest moment? The sexiest moment?
That reveal for Marilyn Monroe when they had the fashion show, when she came out and took that little thing off and she had on the one diamond.
That was
I was like, ooh, come on.
Man. So that was a drag queen outfit reveal. Yes!
Right.
She struck that pose too when she sat up on that stool.
After she tripped, gathered herself, and put that leg out. Yeah. I was about that life.
Okay, well, the sexiest moment for me was like, don't try to talk when it's in your mouth. I was like, okay.
That was sexy, huh?
I won't go with both.
Put it in your mouth and don't try to talk when it's in your mouth.
Okay.
No, I'm joking.
You ain't joking.
No, I'm not joking. I'm not.
No, I like the moment between Eben and Loco when they were skiing, and she fell, and he came over to her, and they had their little kiss up. So
yeah, I thought that was nice.
That was sweet.
Although, if anybody else had 102 fever back in the 50s, she would have been dead.
Right. Just saying. Right. So I was like, that girl was dead.
But people hadn't built up a resistance.
To rat it out, girl. No.
People hadn't built up such a resistance to antibiotics. They probably gave her an aspirin and a bowl of oatmeal, and she was fine.
Right.
And, it's like, now you gotta go through a whole regimen of stuff.
Especially getting the measles as an adult. What's wrong with you? You're about to die. Like you're gonna die today. Like you're at 102 fever. Today is the last day of your life. Enjoy it.
Got 102 fever. She got the scarlet fever. Put in the tent. Put it in the oxygen tent.
Oh, I had that when I was 15.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did they put you in the oxygen tent?
They did for 2 days. They did. So, yeah, it was bad. Anyway,
it's time for the moment of truth.
It did.
Time for the moment of truth. We each have to rate the film. We're going to use a scale of marshmallows. Yeah, we got this camp theme going on. So we're going to start with Miss Vanessa.
But not on sweet potatoes, right? Because that's just nasty.
Well, if you want to use sweet potatoes, that's on you. You can use, fried zucchini sticks. But we're going to start with Vanessa Berry. On a scale from 1 to 10 marshmallows or whatever you want to use, how would you rate this movie?
I'm gonna rate this 6 marshmallows. I didn't hate it. It's very dated, but I really did enjoy some of the datedness. The little digs, the little ways that Lauren Bacall just kind of shut people down. It was hilarious. So I gave it 6.
A 6. Okay. All right. Mr. Derek, how about you?
I'm going to give it 7 marshmallows. It's a movie from the 50s, which automatically gives it 6.
Okay.
Again, I'm telling you, okay. I just enjoyed that era, minus my whole black gayness. But I enjoyed all 3 women, and I enjoyed the 3 leads very much. Having seen them all separately, it was kind of cool to see them come together. What loses points for me is the fact that at the end there is no we've gone through this, but there's no actual. Nobody's done it. Nobody has changed. Nobody has gone through this and become a different person, a better person, a worse person. They are the same person, people they are when they first entered that door.
We call that character development in the business. And they, all right, Damien. Damien, I know you don't usually like to give your opinion on things, and you're very, closed up. Could you just kind of try to open up and let us know how many marshmallows you gave this?
4. I don't love it. I feel like there were better movies that came out, especially comedies that came out at the time. I feel like it's low grade comparatively. Lauren Bacall is one of my favorite actresses of all time. And she smolders in this movie. I mean, she is amazing in this fucking thing. But there are points in this movie, not even just the datedness or anything else or the ending, but there are parts where it doesn't make sense. Like the parts where it sort of breaks up, and 1 minute you're in a car with this girl and they're taking a picture of her and this married man, and then the next minute she's married. Help me. What? When did she go back? When did this guy accept her back into his life? Like, there's no character development. There's no story here. I didn't hate it, but I think 4 is generous. So
okay.
He's hard.
Okay. So, Deadly.
Come see, come qua. I'm gonna say. I was gonna give it 7. Then I remember that orchestra that Maurice don't like, and I'm gonna pump it up to 8 because I really like that opening. And I was a little disappointed. I love me some Marilyn, and I felt like they didn't utilize her enough. I mean, the little eyeglass jokes kind of got old, and all that. Betty Grable, I thought she was great. Lauren Bacall probably stole the whole thing. But yeah, 8. I'll give it 8.
Oh, good. All right, Mr. Legionnaire.
I will have to give it an 8 as well. I really enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed all of the lead characters, and I felt that there was some learned things that happened. I mean, because at the end of the day, they did decide to marry out of happiness as opposed to marrying for money. Because as far as they were all concerned, they married men that didn't have money. Now the fact that Shotzi ended up with a man with money, that was just incidental. But she was content to be with him when she didn't think he had anything. So I think that there was something that they got out of it because they ended up being happy, and money didn't have anything to do with it.
Okay. All right. I will give it. I give it about a 7 because, and it's Damien's fault because Damien made a good point. I liked it, but I do feel like there were other comedies and movies of that time that had a little bit more sparkle to it. Like there was definitely parts of this movie that seemed a little flat to me, but it was acted well. I don't know if it was the best written movie. Like we can't remember some of the lines, but it's not like the lines in All About Eve where they just pop in your head and you remember them for all time. But it was good. I thought it was acted very well. I wish they had cast stronger male leads, but I understand this was a vehicle for the 3, big actresses of the time. So I give it a 7. All right. Everybody happy except for Mr. Three marshmallows and 1 burnt s'more. I'm surprised you gave it that, to be honest. All right, y'all. It is time for everyone to report back to their cabins. Your bunk beds are waiting for you. Join us next time for a brand new installment of Summer Camp. Once again, here's one of our campers on our PA system with a few announcements on how you can interact with us via social media.
Thank you for the intro. Binge listen to your favorite Poppy Chula Radio programs by visiting poppychularadio.com/archives. You can also download tonight's broadcast and the rest of the series through iTunes. Just search for Poppy Chula Radio Summer Camp and subscribe. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/PCR Summer Camp. Follow us on Tumblr, summercamp-PCR.tumblr.com. Follow Poppy Chula Radio on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, and YouTube at Poppy Chula Radio. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns? Email us via contact@poppychularadio.com. Help support Poppy Chula Radio financially by visiting GoFundMe.com/PoppyChulaRadio. Help support Poppy Chula Radio financially by visiting GoFundMe.com/PoppyChulaRadio. Are you interested in joining the Poppy Chula Radio team as an on-air personality or blog contributor? Email talent@poppychularadio.com. Now, back to you, camp counselors.
Thank you. My fellow camp counselors, please wish our campers and the listeners a good night.
Now, I never want to see you again.
Okay.
Bye.
Good night, y'all.
I asked him about it and he hit me with a chicken.
That was a
don't know
crazy
what that
lie.
means.
A stuffed chicken.
Mean.
A real chicken? No, a stuffed
No,
one.
baked and stuffed.
Baked and stuff, right. A hot wing. Tell everybody good night, Derek.
The kitchen is closed, and good night, all.
All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Good night and lights out.